Let me tell you something about Nvidia that you haven't heard before, because after the Liberation Day and everything that is going on right now, all the investors are kind of split into two different categories. The first category says that you absolutely need to buy the dip right now. The second category says that you absolutely have to sell everything that moves right now, including, by the way, Nvidia stocks and stocks of pretty good and valuable companies. So I will tell you right from the beginning of this video, I don't think that Nvidia will be affected as much as other companies in the market. And on the other hand, I don't think we are at the dip right now. So I'm not rushing to buy the dip at the current prices. Today we're going to talk about Nvidia overall. Today I'm going to show you a pretty cool, neat trick to understand if the sell-off of a particular company is the market overreaction or something to do with the company itself. And we're going to look at how Nvidia stock will be affected by the current tariffs and by everything that is going to be after the tariffs, so the implication of the US policy on the whole world right now. Hello and welcome to the Market Monkeys channel. My name is Vadim and today we're talking about Nvidia. So right at the beginning, let's start with this cool trick I promised you about how to understand if the company stock is selling off because it's a horrible business right now or because the market overreacting as a whole. This is not a precise science, but take a look at this. So market has sold off and dropped from February's high about what, 20%? Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Nvidia has sold about 40-something%. So what you need to do is go to your favorite financial resource. For example, you can go to Yahoo Finance and take a look at the beta of Nvidia. So beta of Nvidia is about 2, which means that Nvidia stock is reacting twice as much to every market movement on average. So if market sold off for something like 20% and Nvidia dropped right now, again, this kind of changes every single day, but for now it looks like Nvidia dropped about 32%. We can conclude that Nvidia dropped actually less than was expected with beta of 2. So we can conclude that basically all of this drop is just a market overreaction and overall market sell-off. It doesn't say anything about the business of Nvidia. Now, before you start screaming and writing comments, will Nvidia business be affected? Absolutely. And we are going to talk about this right now. Now, the whole sell-off happened because of one thing, because of the tariffs, of course. And we have new tariffs on China, on South Korea, and on Taiwan, which are major partners of Nvidia. Chips were excluded from these tariffs by the White House, although I have to say I've read a couple of articles and Trump has mentioned it a couple of times in his usual very precise ways that tariffs over chips are coming very soon, maybe 25%, maybe 100%. Yeah, we need to take this into account, but what I wanted to kind of tell you and show you is that Nvidia won't be affected as much. Let's take a look at, for example, $50,000 GPU which Nvidia is selling. Nvidia's gross margin is what? 75%. Last time I checked it was 74.99%, which means that for this $50,000 GPU they are paying $12,500, right? If we will take, for example, 25%, this would mean that the new cost of GPU will be 25% more. So it won't be $12,500, it will be around $3,000 more. Again, $50,000 GPU which Nvidia is selling will be cost $3,000 more. Now, Nvidia can definitely absorb this. There is no kind of problem with the pricing for the company, or they can just roll this price into the buyer of these GPUs. Now, this will probably affect Nvidia's margins because one of the most magnificent things about Nvidia and their business is this huge gross margin and the huge control over pricing which the company has right now. They will probably lose some of it and the gross margin will not be 75% anymore. I think it will drop down to about 65-70% over the next couple of quarters if we of course are staying with the tariffs. Will this be the end of the company? Definitely no. Will the profitability be affected? Yes, a little bit, but the company and kind of the overall dominance over the market will stay the same. If you find this information valuable or interesting, press the like button, subscribe to our channel, and you can become a member of the Market Monkeys channel. Now, the next thing kind of everyone was freaking out about was the exposure of Nvidia and their sales to China. Now, it's not such a huge number. Only 13% of sales of Nvidia were to China. If this number will half over the next year, for example, of course, drop in 6% of sales is, well, it's a lot, but it's not a catastrophe. And first of all, and second of all, I think China is so hooked on Nvidia's GPUs right now that I think they will agree to pay higher price than to actually cancel all their buying of Nvidia products altogether. By the way, so that you know, 47% of Nvidia sales are coming from the US. So in this category, Nvidia is pretty well covered, well, unless Trump will decide that he wants to impose internal tariffs on internal US sales, in which situation we're all screwed. But for now, again, Nvidia looks like a very solid play in all this tariff situation. Now let's talk about supply chain, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the supply chain flexibility because I have seen a couple of reports which said that Nvidia is screwed because we are imposing tariffs on Samsung and on TSMC. And basically because of that, kind of Nvidia business will fall apart. So right now there are a couple of interesting developments which are happening in the US, which will allow Nvidia to actually kind of move away the whole supply chain from Asia to US. First of all, TSMC are opening their first fab in Arizona. Second of all, and by the way, this fab opens in H1 2025, so pretty much right now. This fab will be for 4 nanometers production, and the second fab for 3 and 2 nanometers production will be coming by 2028. I have already, by the way, seen the news of the third fab which TSMC are planning to build in US. In addition to that, Samsung has a fab in Texas, and well, we can talk about Intel, but let's be real here. For now, Nvidia has where to build its chips on US soil, so that's good, and actually the US production is ramping up. And generally, in terms of profitability, we are talking about one of the most profitable company we have ever seen. Net income margin for Nvidia was a staggering 56% last year. 56%. Just so you understand the magnitude of this number, AMD was 6, I think. So we are talking about a company which is very much profitable. Its profitability will probably be hit, that's true, but the company will stay profitable in the few upcoming years at least. So if we don't have to worry about these things, what do we have to worry about? And there are a couple of things which I wanted to mention. First of all, something is going on with pricing of Nvidia products. There was a new report from HSBC which actually kind of opens a couple of kind of points of data which Nvidia do not disclose in their reports. One of the points of data was the average selling pricing of Nvidia Blackwells. And the thing is that the pricing is not going up anymore. The average price per GPU kind of stays flat and stays the same, and you would not expect that. You would expect the next generation of GPUs to be more expensive. When you're paying for iPhone, you're paying more for the next model because Tim Cook tells you it is better. But for Nvidia GPUs, it apparently doesn't work like that. And I have a quote here: Nvidia GPU pricing power is slowing down as we have seen no significant ASP, average selling price, no significant ASP boost between B200 and B300 GPU or the GB200 and GB300 NVL72 rack architecture. So if we came to the kind of top of Nvidia's pricing power, we may see some decline in Nvidia sales and Nvidia profitability, even if they try to boost the volume. And the most significant thing, the one I am watching like a hawk because I'm Nvidia shareholder, so I have to watch these things, is the CapEx from hyperscalers. Because I'm really afraid these big companies right now, when they will understand the financial hit which they may possibly be getting this year. They will cut down on the big projects about the new data centers, about investment in AI, all these things. So for now, we have seen that Microsoft has paused or delayed some data center projects. It was according to Bloomberg, but Microsoft management actually went out and said that nothing has changed for their plans to invest about $80 billion in CapEx this year. For Meta as well, news are pretty much the same. They have huge AI investment and they have reiterated that nothing will happen to this investment. So for now, everything looks okay, everything looks fine, but these are the news you need to be watching for. Not the Nvidia kind of related buzz, but what is going on with the customers of Nvidia. So to summarize everything, I think that what is going on with Nvidia stock right now is hugely due to kind of market overreaction and market sentiment. It has nothing to do with the business of the company itself. If you want to buy the stock of the company right now, by all means, go ahead and do it. We have seen prices below 90, which is something we haven't seen for a long time now. Prices are bouncing back very quickly. We have seen in one trading session, prices fell below 90 and above 100. So kind of you need to catch this point. But in terms of buying the dip, please stop using the phrase buy the dip, because we don't know if this is the dip. And actually, Julia has a very good article on Seeking Alpha, which kind of proves and explains why this is not the dip and why the worst is still yet to come. So I'm, for now, sitting on the cash and waiting for the good opportunity for market to bounce back and to start loading on shares of very good companies which are selling off right now. Tell me in the comments, how are you planning to go with the current market conditions? What are your plans for Nvidia shares? Are you planning to average down the shares? Are you buying the dip right now because you think this is the dip, or are you waiting on? Thank you so much for your time. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.